Saving time with Oracle Clips.
Hello and welcome to this video, which will provide a brief high-level overview outlining how or why containers could be helpful for your business, introduce Podman and its interchangeability with Docker, and briefly outlining what a container is. You may have heard references to Docker and may even be aware that it uses containers, and then think, oh dear, is this just another trendy fad? Well, actually, Podman and Docker may be relatively recent programs. However, the roots of modern-day containerization stretch back roughly 40 years, so the underlying technology is actually well proven. So moving on, what drove the desire towards a more recent adoption of containerization? Well, a key driver was that the ever-increasing complexity of software has made installing and configuring it ever more problematic. All too often, the developers of a system were unable to ensure that what works for them while they're writing it could also be guaranteed to work when shipped to a customer's site. Hence, the search began for a way to reduce or remove the problems related to installer configuration of software at customer sites. Numerous things were tried, such as Linux containers and virtual machines. Whilst these had their merits and their use cases, they still required the install process at the end user's computer system, thereby not preventing the "it works for me" scenario from occurring. Then Docker was released in 2013, greatly simplifying the use of Linux containers, and the rest, as they say, is history. Hopefully that outlines why containers are increasingly used, so let's move on to Podman, although we can't look at Podman without considering how it relates to Docker. Likewise, Podman also provides a CLI similar to that used by Docker, whilst adding some features not found in Docker, such as the ability to run containers either as root or as any unprivileged user. However, because Podman is the only solution supported on Oracle Linux, henceforth I will only refer to Podman. Podman is a daemonless open source tool that provides a way to build, share, run, or find containers conforming to the Open Containers Initiative (OCI) format. Its CLI is immediately familiar to anyone who is also conversant with Docker. It can even execute Docker commands directly by aliasing Docker to Podman like this, alias docker equals Podman. Okay, well that's enough on Podman for now. Let's move on swiftly and take a brief look at container concepts. Put succinctly, a container can be thought of as being like a sealed physical box or shipping container which contains a pre-configured application all ready to run. So how does a sealed container communicate to the external environment? After all, a sealed box is not a realistic way to run software in an ever more integrated global environment, is it? Well, this is achieved in the same way as would be needed on a physical computer, so the Podman administrator defines and configures a hostname, an IP address, and file system/storage definitions that are then used to provide controlled access between the container and the computer it is running on. In this way, Podman has all it needs to run the software in the container as though it were physically installed on your computer. I hope this overview of what a container is and how Podman fits in the picture has helped. So many thanks for watching.